Tal Chi Tal Chi chapter, and the New Jersey Integrated Black Nurses Association. Microsoft 5, Fraternity Incorporated had the privilege of being identified by the National Institutes of Health to participate in a obesity initiative. And this is a program that we're going to be offering virtually to parents on Saturdays, and I'll provide those dates shortly. And there's going to be some great information presented by the nurses and doctors from Chi Alpha Sorority Tau Chi chapter. Today's presentation is going to be on healthy weight, but in addition to these virtual classes, there'll be some giveaways, some gift cards. On May 21st, we have a in-person event. It's going to be a 5K event in West Orange, New Jersey. And we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of the program. But this is a great opportunity. We're getting into the springtime. Restrictions have lightened a little bit around COVID, so people are out and about more. So it's great to have this information as you engage into outside around the springtime. You may be exercising a little bit, so it's always great to be informed as you engage in those activities. This is an open forum. I believe Dr. Breyer will be open to questions, but I'll be turning it over to Yolanda Jackson, who will be the facilitator for the program throughout the series. If there are any questions, the email I sent out has my contact information. You can contact me directly. And I also included the schedule, but I'm going to go over that just quickly here. Just give me a second to pull that up. So today's presentation is, as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Bright is going to be presenting on healthy weight. On May 7th, our next presentation is going to be on meal planning and shopping healthy on a budget. On May 14th, we're going to be focusing on screen time and physical activity. We want to reduce that and get you out and about. Zero sweetened beverages is going to be the presentation during our May 21st event, and that is the in-person event I mentioned earlier. It's the 5K run. It's going to be happening in East Orange at the Omega Family Resource and Learning Center at 132 South Harrison Street. And then on May 28th, there's going to be a presentation on sleep and mental wellness. And then finally, we're going to be concluding on June 18th with a presentation on fruits and vegetables. And I'll be sending this schedule out again, so you'll have it. So at that point, if there are any questions for me, let me know. If not, I'm going to be turning it over to Yolanda to moderate today's session.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back once again.
Yolanda, can I just stop 1 second? I forgot. Let me just defer to Brother Bosses. He's on the call today. Brother Bosses, Mike Wilson, do you have anything you'd like to say before we get started?
Good morning to all. Welcome to the kickoff of the Well Prepared program for 2022. It's great to see everybody out. As Brother Devon said, things are starting to open up. So, now we're in a position to kind of talk about these kind of things and take some of the actions that are necessary to live a healthy life. So hopefully everyone gets a great deal out of the program. I want to thank Tau Chi chapter of Chi Alpha Sorority for partnering with us, and just looking forward to taking in this great information. I yield.
All right, thank you, Brother Bosses. And now we're going to turn it over to Yolanda, and we will just proceed with the program. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, and thank you all for joining us this morning before Easter. Welcome back to Well Prepared Phase 2. We have a dynamic speaker today, Dr. Shirley Bridey, coming to us all the way from Arizona. She is a master instructor from the University of Phoenix. Also on that schedule for May 7th, just as an update, we have our registered dietitian, Denise, who will be joining in on that presentation that day for meal planning and shopping healthy on a budget. But with no further ado, not to take up everyone's time on this Saturday morning, we give to you, Dr. Shirley Bridey. Feel free to use the reactions button on the bottom of your screen. Feel free to raise your hand. Use all the reactions, the chat box to ask questions, or raise your hand if you have a question to ask. And Dr. Shirley, on to Healthy Weight.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am Shirley Bridey. I'm coming to you from the Phoenix, Arizona. We are the Valley of the Sun. Right now, we are flirting with those 100s, but overall, though, it has been wonderful. It's totally my pleasure to come before you. Brother Mike, can you start my slides, please? With the Well Prepared program, we're going to talk about healthy weight. And in this first module, I'm hoping that you can get a lot of information from it. We want to kind of break down what exactly healthy weight will be. And as we move forward with this one, there should be a bit of information that you may already know, but I just want to enhance it for you. So what would be healthy weight? And so we'll keep moving forward. Next slide, please. In the Well Prepared program, we're going to be looking at obesity and the prevention initiatives, how we can then, as parents, be educated on how our children maintain that healthy weight. We also want to educate the parent and the child together so that they would be able to understand exactly what is a healthy weight and what should one do to prevent becoming obese, if you will. Next slide, please. Obesity is a big problem in the United States, and it does affect adults as well as children. In the community where we live, what you'll find is that children will gravitate to those corner stores and or those little mom and pop bodegas where they'll pick up all of the sweetened beverages and everything. Obesity can be contributed to some genetic predisposition, but it would be the same as it is for any adult that may be on the borderline of having problems with their weight. And so then we have to always look at what is causing the problem. How can we alleviate that? It occurs when a child is well above their normal or their healthy weight. And so then we're looking at the age as well as that child's height. Next slide, please. Some behaviors that play a role, eating and drinking habits. Again, where are the children getting the food from? Whatever the parent is putting on the table is what the child is eating, because they do not have the financial resources to shop for themselves. So eating and drinking habits then become a problem. Levels of physical activity. There's a lot of children that are using screen time. What you'll find is that those thumbs are what gets the most activity within their system. They're sitting around watching more TV or on other screen devices. And so then what happens is that some of these children now start to fade during the daytime because their eating habits are not the best. And practitioners will want to put them on various types of medication, thinking that that will be the problem, when actually, if that practitioner took enough time to do a good assessment, they can find that it's the diet that's causing the problem, where children are not doing well on their test or they're sleeping during school time. So then we would try to alleviate the medication, better assess what's happening in their diet, and then also help them with their sleep and various routines that they have throughout the day. More physical activity is always going to be a means of alleviating becoming overweight. Next slide, please. Consequences of childhood obesity. Let's look at the immediate health risk. Even though your child may be one of the guys that you can have younger children do have problems with high blood pressure and high cholesterol based on what it is that they're eating. They are risk factors for cardiovascular disease, same as with an adult. There may be increased risk of impaired glucose tolerance, insulin resistance, as well as type 2 diabetes. When you find your child has breathing problems such as asthma or sleep apnea, then we always need to check their diet. What is it that they're eating? If they can't take those steps, 5, 6 steps without just like leaning over and then just like all winded and out of breath. Also, joint problems and musculoskeletal discomfort. If they cannot spiral a football without shoulder, elbow, and even knee problems, then we can always look at what else is going on with that child that contributes to fatty liver disease, having a lot of gas when you have them, like either they're burping up or they're passing gas on the other end, and then they have heartburn kind of problems as well based on their diet. Any future health risk as adults can cause conditions that will be more severe. When your adult parent person has type 2 diabetes, is it because they have a sedentary lifestyle, they're eating and then just not getting enough activity as well? We can also look at other problems that have consequences of childhood obesity. Think about when your child now becomes a little bit more heavier than the other children in their class. They come home, they're going to be isolating themselves. So we look at the anxiety. They can also become depressed because of that. Bullying is always, whether it's social media bullying or just being bullied in the classroom. So that causes low self-esteem as well. Next slide, please. How obesity is determined by calculating your child's body mass index or BMI. Are there any parents or persons on the call that are familiar with BMI? If you can put that in the chat, raise your hand, or just indicate that you know exactly or have heard about BMI, body mass index.
Yes.
Okay, and so what body mass index is a person's height and weight. It's divided in squares that we're looking at the height as well as that child's weight. When your child is first born, the pediatricians, then they are able to start charting the beginning of milestones for your child, and they keep a little focus on how that child is developing based on height, based on weight, and the changes that they have based on the child's sex as well as their age. Next slide, please. So here's a little growth chart that you will see. And it's in the pediatrician's office, and every time your child goes in, then they just tick off where that child is meeting their milestones or exceeding those milestones. So the BMI on average percentile growth chart, most commonly used indicator. It's not a cookie cutter kind of a tool, because every child, you know, we have people that are taller, smaller, shorter. And so then we look at all of those growth disparities that some children may have, but what the practitioner will do then is just chart to see what exactly, how your child is growing. And they kind of put this in a means where they can look at other children and kind of compare and contrast. Is this child now exceeding their milestones, or are they underweight? Next slide, please. So when we look at the BMI for age, weight, status, what you'll see is the percentile range. If your child were underweight, then we can say that their growth percentage then would be like 14%, which would consider that child to be underweight. When you can find that there may be a lot of purging, meaning that this child now is underweight, they may be throwing up. That's what we would think about as a purge for us healthcare providers. Some children, when they have been involved with being bullied, then they're eating, and then all of a sudden they want to start throwing up. They make themselves throw up. They'll take from laxatives and all kinds of other products, including some drugs, to then help them get that weight off. When you're looking at this kind of weight status here, and it's the overweight or the obese child, then this is the one that's equal to or greater than the 95th percentile. When children then have that body mass index, especially in the midsection, and if you were trying to measure that child's waistline, if their waistline is over 30, then that would be considered in the textbook and percentages in the doctor's office. Over 30 is called obese. And so then when we look at a chart like this one in their weight status, then normal weight, it would be like where your practitioner will say, oh, they're doing good. They're growing according to the other children, their age, as well as their weight. But the thing that you would want to think about here, the only two numbers that they look at the height, they look at the weight. And so then they're not even going to consider the fat on that child's body. But if your female child has big boobs, then that is not going to be considered in a normal percentile, because that will increase that child's BMI. So there's some factors that do make differences in a BMI when you go to the practitioner's office. Next slide, please. So when we're looking at BMI, it is not a diagnostic tool. It is just preferred by a lot of practitioners to use to determine the height as well as their child's weight. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, this is a recommended screening tool to check for overweight. And so if your child is overweight, again, if their waist circumference is 30 when they're measuring, then they'll say, oh, ma'am, your child is overweight. Then let's talk about some diet planning. If your child is underweight, and then it would be like numbers like 14 when they were just like measuring that child, then they're saying, oh, okay, there's some problems with the child. There's a growth and development disparity. And this is a child then that can be having problems where you're thinking that morbidity would be the next step for them. So we have to get on a diet plan to help increase this child's weight. And so on the other hand, we're trying to decrease that child. And they start these kinds of tools beginning at 2 years of age. Next slide, please. So what can I do? We have a little video that we're going to show just to give you an idea on when you're shopping. This will be some indicators on how we can start our meal plan.
Want to eat healthy? Take the time to learn serving sizes. Take this dinner: steak, mashed potato, and green beans. It can be 800 calories or 400. This one: enchiladas, rice, and beans. 2,000 calories or 650 calories. If you don't pay attention to serving sizes, the calories can really add up. Take a look. A week of big dinners, 6,500 calories. But measure everything right, and it's more like 2,500. Same foods, different waistline. So how do you know the right serving size? Some foods can be compared to everyday items. A serving of meat should be the size of a deck of cards. A baked potato, a computer mouse. For a treat, ice cream. Only the size of 2 golf balls, though. You can also use your hand for some serving sizes. Your fist is about the size of a cup. The palm of your hand is close to a 3-ounce piece of meat, and your thumb is about the size of a solid ounce. Or you can look on the nutrition label and then measure your food. The extra work is worth it. Consuming too many calories makes it almost impossible to lose weight. Maintaining a healthy weight reduces your risk for cancer and other diseases.
Thank you, Brother Mike. And now what can we do? We can also go to the store, have your child come to the store with. When you have that child with you at the store, then we would be able to shop together to try to get some healthy types of foods. So we involve ourselves here in the program with 5210, Healthy Military Children. And this will give us an indication of better shopping, better cooking, and better being prepared. Keep our child as well as ourselves as the parent healthy, wealthy, and wise. Next slide, please. So the 5210 program is what we are involved with in being well prepared. It represents 4 behaviors children should try to achieve every day for good health. So when we're looking at the blue indicator here, it would say that the child should have 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables. When we're looking at the gold section, 2 or fewer hours of recreational screen time. Just unplug, just have some dinner time with your children, be able to sit down and talk to them. How was your day? What is going on? Let's have a meal together as opposed to everybody just like going to their rooms to eat or eating at different times. And it is realized that people are working, everybody has a lifestyle that's so different. But if we can put a little bit more effort into increasing what's going on with your child and diet planning and such, then that would be a benefit for them. The green section indicates 1 or more hour of physical activity. Less and less physical activity. Is it because of the pandemic? Is it because of that we're just not getting out and about because we have every screen device that is known to man? And so then those would be something that we need to begin to focus on a little bit more. And 0 sweetened beverages. Instead of just like having the Propels and the Gatorades and those kinds of things, what would be best is to have a bottle of water and put your little fusion kinds of things in there, some strawberries, some lemon. You can also put in there some sliced cucumbers. Utilize those fruits and vegetables that you've purchased when you're saying you should have 5 or more of them. Put a little mint leaf in there, and then that's a good electrolyte enhancing kind of a product as well. And then you'll keep that dentist away because the dentist loves when children keep coming back with all of those dental caries and cavities and such. So if we alleviate some of those sweetened beverages, then that would be a good help in keeping your teeth, because that if we're not true to our teeth, then what happens? They become falsies. And so then you would just not want that to happen. So less sweetened beverages. The health behavior represented by the 5210 are beneficial for all children, no matter their shape or size. Next slide, please. So we collaborate with various clearinghouses, the military, community, and family policy, as well as the American Academy of Pediatrics. So all get together and enhance learning for parents and children. The 5210 Healthy Military Children was developed as well in a collaboration. And so then that's how all of these modules are put together to share with everybody to increase awareness on eating, sleeping, mental wellness, and all of the other modules that you will be receiving information on in the months to come. Next slide, please. So positive health outcomes from 5210 program. Again, when we're looking at the blue section up there, health outcomes then would just increase our nutrient intake. If that child then is able to be involved with any of the dense nutrients that would be beneficial for them, we would increase their cardiovascular health. Walking, being able to take some steps instead of just like, laying around and becoming more sedentary. And that also helps to prevent cancer. With our obesity prevention, any health development would increase that child's sleep. Being able to think about their immune system. With the immune system, right now we're living in a pandemic, and actually we're in a twindemic. A twindemic just simply means because this is the flu season as well. So combining the flu season with our pandemic, then that would be something that alters one's immune system and their metabolism on how food is distributed within one's body. And so then as long as you have a good immune system, then you can fight off all of the flus and the allergies and those kinds of things. Reducing depression would be also another means of reducing anxiety and stress. When your child, as well as parents on the call, are eating better, sleeping better, then you'll find that there's less stress because everybody is talking, no one is isolating themselves in their rooms. And there's also a diabetes prevention. Cardio fitness, there's a walk that's coming up on the 21st. And so then if you're able to join and be a part of, then that would be phenomenal for increasing your cardio. Muscle fitness, when you're thinking about, kicking a soccer ball, spiraling a football, being able then to be more physically active, then that is also a best practice, increasing your bone health. With the zero sweetened drinks, then dental health is what you would want to think about there. Keeping those teeth, because they can't be replaced. There's only get 2 sets. And when those sets are gone, then you're purchasing. And so then that's not what you would want to do. So we're teaching all of these healthy outcomes early so that your children will be able to maintain these kinds of things as we age. Next slide, please. And so we look at health outcomes, which are good for every child. We know that if they're eating and sleeping better, then they would be able to help with outcomes. Help your child with you go to the store and look for various items there that do make a difference. Also, when you're shopping, then you want to just select various other things. We can always Google and then find a recipe or something that we can use that will benefit this child in making better selective choices. So this health program, health outcomes, is good for every child, 5210. Next slide, please. So the positive focus. Here, when you think about the positive focus, what you'll read here, it says long, productive, fruitful life at the next exit. The next exit should simply mean to you that we're not looking back at where we had been, where we may have been a little bit more overweight or even underweight for that matter. But when we're looking now at the next exit, that just simply means to you, you can't move forward when you look back. And so then you're not going to look in that rear view mirror and say, this is where I could have been. We're going to look forward to the next exit and then be able to say, this is the kind of weight management that is benefiting me and my health and my family. And so then always think about long, productive, fruitful life by looking at the next exit, not looking in the rear view mirror going backward. 5210 is a positive initiative that would be able to benefit everyone if we're staying focused. Next slide, please. So the Well Prepared program goals. The goals would be to have a family that would be understanding educational benefits in what we shop, how we cook, and what we eat. So it's positive, healthy behaviors. And we're not looking at weight only, because sometimes when you keep jumping on the scale, you know, that can be depressing for a lot of people. And so then instead of that, the positive, healthy behaviors then will be starting with these behaviors that we're going to be providing to you in a monthly modules. We'll start with behaviors now so that you and your family can live long, healthy lives. Next slide, please. Language matters, parents. Creating healthy behaviors can be difficult because it comes with change. You know, if you are the parent that is, of course, you know, the one that's shopping, then depending on what you say and how you present food to your child or children, then it really does make a difference. And so the impact would be that if there's something that you don't like, Brussels sprouts and broccolis and those kinds of things, instead of turning your nose up and say, oh, I don't like that one, then let's just try it. We can say that, oh, okay, let's start by making small changes. These will be something that, and tell your children the reasons why this would be a good start. If we're eating strawberries, then we can say, oh boy, this tastes so delicious. We can use this in our water. We can just make strawberry, even shortcakes for that matter. And so then that would be something, because what we say and what we do will have an impact on your child and or children in the household on how they adapt to any foods that are presented to them. Start making small changes and you'll see a big plus. Next slide, please. So here, phrases that help or hinder, a little handout that you can be privy to, because what is introducing to you is the best way to introduce various foods to your children, getting them to like them, even if you do not. So instead of saying, you know, can you just eat this because you get big muscles and stuff, you know, you could be eating spinach like Popeye for all of your life and then still never get those big muscles. So then you would just like want to say, let's just try this one. You know, Google a couple of recipes and see how they can benefit that child and something that they like because they were involved with the cooking process. One big takeaway from this kind of a handout is don't award your child then with food for good behavior. Rather, give them the hug, give them some me time, allow your child to sit down and talk with you as opposed to saying, oh, you ate all of your food. Now here's an extra helping of a dessert. Or, you know, just make sure then that you're offering things then that will be beneficial for them, because the words of our mouth really for true do make a difference. Phrases that help as well as can hinder. So always, you know, oh, this is a little chewy. This kiwi is a good fruit. You know, let's just try this one. Let's just make several kinds of desserts. Let's just see how we might be able to then compare this to something else. So then that would be a better way of getting your children involved with liking various foods, even if you do not like them. I know there's some things that, you know, we as parents, myself included, that do not like. It just doesn't do well in my system. But then I would want to offer it to my children or grandchildren. Let's just see how, you know, they might be able to like that, because some children don't like things just simply because the parents didn't like things without even trying. So phrases that help and hinder. Next slide, please.
That was the end of the slideshow.
Oh, okay. Well, it was supposed to be to say to you, thank you. And if you have any questions, we here at the Well Prepared program then are here for you. We want to make sure that you have all of the information that you would need to be a healthy, wealthy, wise kind of person, shopping properly, because it's ongoing. This would be something that you would always want to involve yourself and your children with. So if you have any questions, any comments, or anything that you could share, that it would be totally my pleasure, our pleasure then to help you. Monthly, you'll be getting information in various concerns. And those would be some things that we just keep building on, starting with the basics and moving to the complex. So anything that you would have to share, then please do put it in the chat.
Dr. Brighty, I'm going to
Yes.
ask Ms. Davis to come off because she put something wonderful in the chat. And with these presentations, we look for sustainability. And these are the stories that we love to hear, that feedback. So from the mouth of one of the moms from last year's presentations has an update for everyone.
Wonderful.
Good
Hi,
morning,
Ms.
everyone.
Davis.
Hi, how are you?
I am
Just
well.
wanted to say thank you to the wellness program because it really taught us a lot. Jaden actually recommended the different things and implemented it. So he shops and everything and reads the labels. He's lost weight. He's active. He's starting ice skating lessons on the 25th. So thank you so much.
That is wonderful. I remember Jaden too from last year. That was great. I'm so glad he's involved, and you two together are meal planning and shopping and cooking and everything, and he's active. That's a phenomenal testimony, and I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so, Ms. Davis, with that, these are the things why we say grabbing the children at a young age, because they become the influencers for their age group. And hopefully this will carry on to some of them. And to all of the parents that's on the line as well. It brings out the better us. You know, we're saying this is for the children, but over the years, a lot of us have slipped off, and we are the role models, mentors for our children and their friends. So by listening, learning, and sharing this program with others, everyone can benefit. We'll have healthier communities and healthier people all together. So I encourage you, all of you on the line, to continue to share the program with your neighbors, your church communities, your family, everybody. Just share the information. They can get on, listen, and they'll be surprised. And Dr. Brighty, you always hit it out the park with your videos. Love you to death. Excellent video. Anyone have any more questions right now? Feel free, open up, speak.
So Dr. Body, what's the recommended number of calorie intake for children, for young adults, and for us more seasoned adults?
Well, that's going to be always, it will vary. The calorie count based on their activity, based on the child's sex, based on what may be recommended by that child's pediatrician. If we as seasons could adults then are trying to modify our weight as opposed to saying losing weight, but to modify it, then we can have like, from 2,000 calories per day. It just depends on how active that person is. Because even if we just modify our diet in a sense, if we're not doing any exercising, if we're not even at least trying to do some kind of a cardio with the diet, then it's almost like a moot point. It's not going to be as effective. So based on the lifestyle of that person, what it is that they are more adaptable to, walking around the block and having a 2,000 calorie type of a meal is beneficial for some. Some would need less calories if they're diabetic, if they have cardiac problems. And so those would be some things that you would need. It's an individual kind of a concept that one would have to do, because there's no cookie cutter. There's no one size fits all. So we would have to then just like determine what is that child, that person, what's their lifestyle like. If they're in school and they're heavily active in PE and all of those kinds of things, then you would just be able to kind of set a plate like this one, and then just make sure then that they have like the right portions that would be benefiting them, as opposed to how many calories. So a spoonful of this, that, and a third would be better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And to add on to that, since you asked about how many calories do you use, seasoned people, the average calories is 1,200 to 2,000. And that 2,000 calorie is usually the males. Women need less calories. And we sort of use a height and weight and your BMI to determine what you need to have. But on the average, but in order to, like if a male is supposed to have 2,000 calories, if a woman is supposed to have 1,200 calories, or 1,200 to 1,800 calories, then in order to lose weight, you have to reduce those amount of calories in order to lose weight. Because if you are on say 2,000 calories and you don't do anything, even with exercise, that's your maintenance. With exercise, you're not going to lose weight. So you'd have to decrease those numbers in calories.
Mm-hmm. And just to add on, remember 3,500 calories is equivalent to 1 pound. We know we can eat well over 3,500 calories in one meal if we don't watch our serving sizes, our portions, right?
Right.
And as stated, if you're not doing any exercise, that's, you're killing the fat right there. You're just gonna keep weight on and add more. So
Right.
Another thing that can be done with that is definitely speak to a nutritionist who can come up with meal plans for you and the suggested dietary intake that you should have throughout the course of the day for those meals, so that you will have a weight loss ultimately with a diet and exercise plan. And that's considering you don't have other comorbidities involved too. So that's a whole nother lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
also,
So what?
Go ahead.
Go. No.
No, I was gonna give you something from the chat, so you can go until then.
Oh, okay. But also when you're trying to lose weight, if that be you, then you also want to just like make sure that you want to lose it slowly, because people that do those crash diets and all of those kinds of things, it's just such a yo-yo. You go up and down and you're up and down. And then that also can contribute to cardiovascular kind of problems. You'll find that some of us as seniors, will then start to have like the aches and the pains in the joints and those kinds of things. So you want to just like maintain, you want to lose weight if that be what your goal is, and then try to keep it off, as opposed to losing it very quickly. And then it bounces back and then you're even larger than you had been in the start. So it's always modification in any and everything that we should do.
Okay, so in the chat, we have my son, 6, used to eat so many vegetables when he was a baby. Now he only eats broccoli and carrots. loves rice and pasta. Will this change? I constantly give him other food choices. He will eat fish and beans sometimes, but it bothers me that he is in love with carbs. What is the best way to implement change?
Well, carbs empty fast. Even though, he feels that he's only eating carbs right now, depending on the child's age, and even for us as seniors, though, when the carbs are entered, then you do lose them quickly. And it could be just a fad. It could be something that, for right now, I'm only wanting to eat this, and then 2 weeks later, it will be something else. But then how would you be able to modify some change? It would be just keep introducing various items. Let's go to the store and look at these colorful fruits, or what about these other veggies? Let's just try this and be able to see. And it's just the way that you present them. If you don't want to push it on a child, because, teenagers, then they have their own mindset. But when you have a younger child, they'll be a little bit more influenced on, oh, okay, well, maybe we can try this one, or you either love it or you don't. And so, it's just the way that you present that to them.
And Brother Hayes has also placed into the chat, exercise should not be just cardio-based. Strength training is an important part of any weight loss program. Body composition is another lesson.
That's right. Yeah, because how we exercise and stay mentally and physically fit, then those would be some good additions on everything. And so, as Brother Hayes had said, then yeah, it's just not one way of being able to maintain. It's trying various items to kind of like bulk up on various foods, as well as the exercise program that we involve ourselves with. Anything else? Any other question, comment, or addition to? Again, Ms. Davis, I thank you for being here again and for contributing to the discussion. It's been phenomenal to see you, and tell Jaden, give him all of my best, because I do remember
Welcome, thank
him.
you.
Yes.
I'm hoping that we get to meet in person, Ms. Davis, at the 5K. I'm quite sure Jaden would love it.
Oh, yes, I wanted to attend, but I also teach on Saturdays. So it's certain Saturdays that we won't be able to participate. And then I noticed that was the same Saturday that we're flying to Boston.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, safe travel.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question or comment? Then I do thank you all for your time and attention. It has been truly my pleasure. I see that there is the 5K run again, information to sign up for. So then please do to get out there and, get some sun and fun and, stretch those muscles and get another wealth of pearl of information while you're out there on the 21st. Happy Easter to everyone. Be safe. We're still safe distancing and, all of those kinds of things, because the pandemic and our twin-demic with the flu is still prominently out there. And I just want to wish you all well. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I just want to say we have a little housekeeping, right? Brother Wilson, who was the first to get on today?
That would be Ms. Davis.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good.
And so Ms. Davis will be receiving a gift card.
What does she get?
She'll be receiving a $50 gift card. via mail.
Oh, very good.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
All right.
Keep coming back, keep coming back.
So you see, share the information, let them know we give away incentives, but more so the information to becoming better fit, more healthy as a family. Okay, so continue to share. And I turn it over to Brother Devon at this time for closeout.
All right, before we transition off, we just want to give a little bit more information on the 5K fun run. So I'm going to share my screen, and Brother Bosses will just give a brief overview of that program.
Thanks, Brother Devon. I just posted the link in the chat to the actual 5K race page. So if you could bring that up, that would be great.
It's there.
So while Brother Devon's bringing it up, so we're actually, so this is our second 5K. We did it last year, but we did it virtually where everybody just kind of got in their 5K wherever they were at. But this year we're going to be doing it in person from our fraternal home in East Orange, New Jersey at the Omega Family Resource and Learning Center. It's exactly what you think it is. It's a 5K fun run walk throughout the city of East Orange that'll begin it at the house. But it'll be a full day. We'll also be partnering with Chi Phi Talk Chi chapter to provide a health fair during the event. So whether you want to participate in the walk or not, please join us that day on May 21st, starting at 9 a.m. We'll run through about noon or 1 o'clock that afternoon. But come join the festivities. We'll have those resources available, and we'll just be having a good time as well, celebrating healthy living and trying to encourage a healthy lifestyle throughout the community. So for all the parents, anybody in the Well Prepared program who wants to participate, we will cover the cost of you participating in the run. So if you're interested, please just respond to Brother Devon's email or wherever you got the email for the link to this virtual event today, and we'll work out the details of getting you registered and so you can participate in the event. So hopefully you'll come join us. Please spread the word. This is a pretty big day, and I don't know how many times you're going to get the police to block off the streets in East Orange. So please join us to make it worth the effort. Thank you.
I see Cheryl has a question.
Can't hear you.
You're on
Cheryl.
mute. Yep.
No, I just have my hand elevated on a pillow
Okay.
because of the surgery. I'm sorry.
And just to add, we are looking for volunteers during that day. So there is an opportunity to volunteer. If you know of any groups, organizations that are looking for community service, they can participate. High school students need 60 hours to graduate from high school. So they're always looking for community service opportunities. Feel free to pass that information on to me, and I will follow up with the organization or individuals if they're interested in volunteering to assist us on that day.
Yeah, we're giving away up to 5 community service hours. So if you got kids in high school, this is a good chance.
Do y'all have the Boy Scouts there in that area? Or the cadets, the military cadets?
Yeah, so we'll be reaching out to ROTC programs of the respective schools and YMCA as well too, to see if they have any youth who are interested in participating. Thank you for that suggestion, Cheryl. In the chat, I did put a link to a survey. So if you participated in the call today, we would really appreciate it if you completed that information. That's included all of the brothers as well. Please fill out that survey. It really helps us in gathering some data around this programming so we can measure the impact of it. And it's always great to hear that feedback that Ms. Davis provided for us. That's always welcome, right? And please share this program. As you can see, it's great information provided. And we make sure we get you out within an hour. I still think we have about 5 minutes less, but unless anyone has any additional comments, I think we are coming to a close for this first session. Just quickly, let me just go over the next session. It's scheduled for May 7th. I'm gonna pull that up. So the next session is going to be on May 7th, and it's going to be on meal planning, shopping, healthy on a budget. And I'm going to put that in the chat as well, so you'll have it.
If I can make a comment, Brother Devon.
Absolutely.
I think this is, I'm glad we got that, the actual, what the program would be about next week or on the 7th, because I would love to, for the health and wellness committee, really, as to Sister Yolanda's comment, this isn't just about kids, it's about adults as well. So I'm gonna really push for more brothers to jump on this. We need more brothers on this type of, or getting this type of information. And Dr. Birdie is the bomb. All right, Bright, excuse me, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, but she is the bomb. And you're looking amazing, by the way.
Thank
God
you.
is blessing you. Great. I just want to put that out there, that we're going to incorporate that into the announcement into our 8 Weeks to a Better Q program to make sure brothers are getting all angles of healthy information.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brother Hayes. And we look forward to their participation and sharing of the information. So with that, I did put the link to the schedule in the chat. So please click on that and save it, or you'll download it and save it. And I'll be communicating via email as well. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of this Saturday afternoon. And I will see you on May 7th. Take care.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Take care, everyone.